The human brain is often described as the most energy-hungry organ in the body, and with good reason. Even though it makes up only about 2% of your total body weight, it consumes more than 20% of the calories you eat every single day. Every thought, every memory, every tiny flicker of movement in your fingers or eyes requires enormous amounts of energy. This energy comes mainly from glucose, the simplest sugar your body extracts from carbohydrates. But the story doesn't stop there, because not all glucose is created equal, and the type of food you choose directly affects how efficiently your brain performs. When you eat whole grains or complex carbohydrates such as oats, brown rice, or sweet potatoes, your body breaks them down slowly, releasing glucose at a steady rate into your bloodstream. This provides your brain with a reliable fuel supply, keeping you focused and alert for hours. It is like filling a car with premium gasoline, ensuring the engine runs smoothly without stuttering. On the other hand, refined sugars and simple carbohydrates, think soda, pastries, or candy, flood your bloodstream with a quick burst of glucose. At first, this may feel like an energy high, a rush of focus and excitement. But the spike is temporary, and your brain soon faces a crash. You may feel irritable, tired, or unable to concentrate, as if your car engine suddenly sputters to a stop after burning through low-grade fuel too quickly. This constant cycle of spikes and crashes is damaging, not just for daily focus but for long-term brain health. Over time, a diet heavy in refined sugar can increase inflammation in the brain, impair memory, and even raise the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. In contrast, a diet rich in whole carbohydrates creates stability, supporting brain cells with a smooth stream of energy that protects neurons and promotes sharper thinking. The brain, in essence, is a luxury engine. It demands quality fuel, and it repays you with clarity, focus, and endurance when you provide it. But glucose is only part of the story. The food you eat provides much more than fuel. It supplies the raw materials that literally build and shape your brain. Carbohydrates may give energy, but fats and proteins determine how effectively that energy is used. Healthy fats, such as omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids found in fish, nuts, and seeds, are especially vital. They form the very membranes of brain cells and allow neurons to communicate with one another. Without these fats, the connections between brain cells become less efficient, and processes like memory formation, learning, and problem-solving slow down. Omega-3 fatty acids also reduce inflammation, protecting the brain against age-related decline and even depression. Imagine your brain's network of neurons as a vast web of telephone wires. Healthy fats keep those wires strong, flexible, and capable of carrying signals clearly. Proteins, broken down into amino acids during digestion, are just as essential. These amino acids become the building blocks of neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that carry signals between brain cells. Serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine are examples of neurotransmitters that influence everything from mood to motivation to sleep. When your diet lacks adequate protein, or when it is filled with poor quality sources, your brain may struggle to produce these chemicals in the right balance. This can leave you feeling sluggish, unfocused, or emotionally unstable. By contrast, protein-rich foods like eggs, legumes, lean meats, or dairy provide the amino acids necessary to keep your neurotransmitter system running smoothly. The balance of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins in your diet creates the foundation of your mental state. Too much processed food, and your brain is forced to run on unstable energy and poor quality building blocks. But when you provide steady glucose, protective fats, and nourishing proteins, your brain thrives. You experience better memory, stronger focus, sharper decision-making, and a more stable mood. In short, you are not only feeding your brain but actively shaping how it works, moment by moment and year by year. Micronutrients may not provide calories like carbohydrates, fats, or proteins, but their role in brain health is no less important. They are the silent workers behind the scenes, ensuring that every system in the brain functions properly. Vitamins and minerals are required in small amounts, but their absence or deficiency can cause serious problems with memory, attention, mood, and long-term cognitive performance. Take antioxidants, for example, such as vitamins C and E. The brain, despite being only a small percentage of body mass, consumes a huge portion of the body's oxygen. This heavy oxygen use makes it especially vulnerable to oxidative stress, a process in which unstable molecules known as free radicals damage cells. Over time, Oxidative stress can weaken neurons, slow down signaling, and contribute to age-related decline. Antioxidants act like shields, neutralizing free radicals before they can cause harm. By eating foods rich in colorful fruits and vegetables, you are essentially reinforcing the brain's defense system against early wear and tear. B vitamins are another group with profound effects on brain function. Vitamins like B6, B12, and folate are key players in producing neurotransmitters, those crucial chemical messengers that allow your brain cells to talk to each other. Low levels of these vitamins have been linked to problems with memory and mood disorders, including depression. Meanwhile, minerals such as iron and zinc play equally significant roles. Iron is essential for transporting oxygen to the brain, fueling mental activity and preventing fatigue. Zinc contributes to the regulation of nerve communication and also supports neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and form new connections. Magnesium helps calm overactive neurons, stabilizing mood and supporting sleep quality. Without adequate amounts of these micronutrients, the brain struggles to perform even basic tasks smoothly. What is striking is that deficiencies in these small nutrients often go unnoticed until symptoms begin to appear. A child who lacks iron may have trouble concentrating at school. An adult with low B12 might feel forgetful or chronically tired. An elderly person with insufficient antioxidants may be more vulnerable to memory decline. These are not inevitable outcomes of aging or stress, they are often reflections of diet. By consuming a wide variety of nutrient-dense foods, leafy greens, nuts, seeds, lean meats, legumes, and berries, you feed your brain the microscopic but mighty tools it needs to stay sharp. In many ways, micronutrients are like the nuts, bolts, and wires inside a complex machine, invisible from the outside, but essential to keep everything running without breakdown. If micronutrients are the hidden workers in the brain, water is the very foundation. The human brain is almost 3/4 water, and every chemical reaction, every electrical impulse, and every bit of nutrient transport depends on proper hydration. Yet, many people underestimate how quickly dehydration affects mental performance. Even mild dehydration, losing just 2% of your body's water, can lead to noticeable declines in memory, attention, and mood. You might feel irritable, tired, or unable to concentrate, all because your brain cells are struggling to maintain balance without enough fluid. Water doesn't only fill the brain's structure, it also cushions and protects it. Cerebrospinal fluid, which surrounds the brain and spinal cord, is largely composed of water, acting as a shock absorber against injury. On a microscopic level, water helps maintain the shape and flexibility of cells, ensuring that signals travel across neurons effectively. When hydration is low, brain cells literally shrink slightly, impairing their ability to communicate. This is why headaches and mental fog are among the first signs of dehydration. Hydration also influences mood and long-term mental health. Studies have shown that people who drink enough water report greater calmness, clearer thinking, and less anxiety. On the flip side, chronic dehydration can increase levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and make it harder for the brain to regulate emotions. Unlike carbohydrates, fats, or proteins, water provides no energy or building blocks, yet without it the entire system begins to falter. It is like trying to run a powerful computer with a weak electrical connection, even the best hardware cannot perform without steady power. Fortunately, staying hydrated is simple. Drinking water throughout the day, and consuming water-rich foods such as fruits and vegetables, helps maintain the fluid balance the brain needs. Caffeinated drinks or sugary sodas may quench thirst temporarily but often lead to dehydration later. The best strategy is consistency. Small, steady intake of water to keep the brain operating at full capacity. When you drink enough, you are not just preventing thirst, you are fueling your ability to think, remember, and feel balanced. Food does not simply supply energy for your brain, it also determines how you feel from moment to moment. The relationship between diet and mood is powerful, and it begins with the brain's chemistry. Neurotransmitters such as serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine regulate emotions, motivation, and sleep. These chemicals are built from amino acids, which come directly from the protein in your diet. When you eat eggs, legumes, lean meats, or dairy, you provide the raw materials your brain needs to produce the neurotransmitters that keep you motivated, balanced, and emotionally resilient. On the other hand, if your diet is consistently poor in quality protein, neurotransmitter production can slow down, leaving you vulnerable to irritability, fatigue, or even depression. Carbohydrates also play a surprising role in shaping your emotions. Complex carbs like whole grains and vegetables stimulate the release of serotonin, the so-called feel-good hormone, which helps regulate mood and promote calmness. That's why a balanced meal containing whole carbohydrates often leaves you satisfied and emotionally stable. Contrast this with refined sugars. While they can give a quick burst of energy and mood elevation, the effect is short-lived, followed by a sharp crash. These mood swings are not simply psychological, they are biochemical responses to unstable glucose levels in the brain. Healthy fats, particularly omega-3 fatty acids, further influence emotional well-being. They not only build cell membranes but also reduce inflammation that can disrupt mood regulation. In fact, several studies link omega-3 deficiency to a higher risk of depression and anxiety. Meanwhile, diets rich in nuts, seeds, fish, and olive oil are associated with improved emotional balance. What you eat doesn't just change how sharp your mind feels, it shifts the very lens through which you perceive the world. The gut also plays a surprising role in mood regulation. A diverse and balanced diet nourishes the gut microbiome, the community of bacteria living in your intestines. These microbes produce compounds that communicate directly with the brain through the gut-brain axis. Processed and unhealthy foods disrupt this delicate ecosystem, while fiber-rich and nutrient-dense foods strengthen it. The result is a more stable emotional state, reduced stress, and even improved sleep quality. Junk food, in contrast, may feel comforting in the moment, but it often leaves you with irritability, fatigue, and anxiety in the long run. What becomes clear is that food is not just fuel, it is medicine for your mood. Choosing balanced, nutrient-dense meals is like giving your brain a set of finely tuned instruments to create harmony, while processed foods and sugar are like broken instruments creating noise and imbalance. Each bite becomes a choice between balance and disruption, between a stable emotional state and one that feels chaotic. While food and mood reveal the immediate impact of diet, long-term brain health is shaped by the eating patterns you maintain over years. The choices you make today influence not only how you think and feel now but also how well your brain will function in decades to come. Research shows that diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and fish are strongly associated with lower risks of Alzheimer's disease and dementia. These foods are packed with antioxidants, healthy fats, and micronutrients that protect neurons, reduce inflammation, and slow the processes of aging in the brain. On the other hand, diets filled with trans fats, processed meats, refined sugar, and highly processed foods accelerate cognitive decline. They contribute to chronic inflammation, damage blood vessels that supply the brain, and impair memory over time. What seems like harmless indulgence in the short term, constant fast food, sugary drinks, and snacks, can accumulate into serious long-term damage, eroding the sharpness of your memory and the resilience of your brain cells. One dietary approach that has received particular attention is the Mediterranean diet, which emphasizes fish, olive oil, legumes, whole grains, and abundant vegetables. Studies consistently show that people who follow this eating pattern maintain stronger memory, sharper cognitive skills, and better mental health well into old age. Another example is the DASH diet, designed to reduce hypertension, which also protects against stroke and supports brain function. Both diets highlight the same principle: long-term nourishment is the ultimate form of brain insurance. The long-term perspective also reminds us that prevention is more powerful than treatment. Once neurons are damaged or lost, they are difficult to replace. But protecting them through consistent, mindful eating habits creates resilience. Imagine your brain as a vast library filled with priceless knowledge. By eating wisely, you are preserving the books and maintaining the shelves so that they remain intact for years to come. By contrast, a poor diet is like allowing mold and termites to slowly destroy that library from the inside. Ultimately, eating for long-term brain health is an act of self-care and foresight. The meals you prepare today ripple through your future, influencing how clearly you will think, how well you will remember, and how balanced you will feel in the years ahead. It is not about strict rules or deprivation but about consistent, thoughtful choices that nourish rather than deplete. Your brain is the most powerful organ you own, and food is one of the greatest tools you have to protect it.